of the How to Make Money Online 30-Day Challenge. Today's topic is ebooks. So ebooks are pretty crazy. I mean, pretty unique. So if you're not exactly sure what they are, ebook, otherwise known as electronic book, they are digital publications. So it could be, a book, could be like a magazine type thing. They're You can read them on computers. You can read them on like e-readers, like a Kindle, a tablet, a smartphone. So really any type of digital media or digital kind of like device you can read ebooks on. So there's a wide range of different not only publishers but also apps that you can read them on. Even like the library has like ebook readers and ebooks that you can check out, which is insane. But it is 2024, right? So that's pretty crazy. So they offer a convenient and an accessible way for readers to consume the content from authors to publish instead of actually having like a traditional book in front of your hands and kind of reading it like kind of like reading in front of your face, that kind of thing. Um, so definitely creating an ebook can be a great way to like share your knowledge, share your experiences, tell a story, or continue to build on your personal brand, which is what we've done on this 30-day challenge. So every day we're talking about a different way you can make money online, a different business model, and this is definitely going to be no different. So if you guys are excited about books, ebooks, this is definitely the one that you're going to want to join and hang out. So come along with us and let's have some fun learning about electronic books. Hey, sweet homes. Thank you so much for joining. Already the first sip of water. Okay, so we're going to start from the very top. So, as always, what we do with these overviews is, or these, live streams, we're going to do an overview and then we'll kind of dive into each topic a little further. And as always, please definitely feel free to drop any questions at any time. Feel free to interrupt. Anytime you have a question, feel free and, we could talk about it and chat about it. So, okay, so when you're talking about creating your ebook, I I did the honey, but I forgot the lemon. And I can't believe I forgot the lemon. So I'm like, wait, all right, I got the honey and some hot water, and that was about it. I forgot the lemon because I was looking for actual lemons, but we didn't have any. So I might have to settle for like lemon juice or something that I can pour in. But I did try to, I actually have I'm kind of double fisting the water here. So hopefully, I'm gonna be juiced up and we won't have any problems here, with the voice or anything going out. So yeah, yeah, absolutely. Half is better than none. Yep. So okay, so we're gonna talk about planning your ebook. So the first thing you're gonna do, and this is kind of similar to, in a sense, when we talk about choosing a niche, but it's more about choosing a topic. So you want to choose a topic and identify a subject that really interests you and is really relevant to your audience. So you kind of have to have an audience in mind when you're kind of writing this, depending on what the actual focus is. So are you doing it as an ebook in terms of like a story? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right, sweetums. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that on the live, right? Like a little ice cream here, little, back and forth, I'd have to like a little table, to set up. So, yeah, so you definitely want to find kind of like an audience as far as like the topic goes and be able to really cater to them. So, whether you're doing like a novel or whether you're doing some sort of informational kind of um, maybe like a white notes or like a what is it called? Like cliff notes, like a cliff notes type thing, or like, maybe like a simple kind of guidebook or, something you can follow. So when you think about an ebook, it doesn't have to be like a novel. It could be something that's totally different, some sort of like downloadable PDF, that kind of thing. So then when we talk about our audience, you definitely want to understand like who is your reader, who are you going to be targeting, and then what are they actually looking for? So that could mean a bunch of different things. So what are they actually looking for? What do they hope to get out of reading your book? And maybe when you're thinking about when you start to kind of put it together and cultivate it, you can think about what do you want people to learn? What do you want people to take from you? or take from, maybe reading the book, or, that kind of thing. Is it an educational thing? Is it just purely entertainment? So really, that's kind of like the best way to start as far as getting ideas to kind of plan the book out. So, and then next, of course, kind of like everything else, right? We want to set our goals. So we're going to determine the purpose of the ebook. And kind of like what we just talked about, is it to like educate people? Is it to entertain? Or is it strictly like a promotion item for your brand itself? So all those things are absolutely valid. Valid. It just depends, which path you want to go down. Okay. So next up in our outline is research and outline. Sorry, research and the outline. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, so think about the outline up at the very top. And so we're going to conduct research. So you want to organize your ideas in somewhat of a structured format to where you can plan out, okay, chapter one, chapter two, chapter three, or like sections. If it's not going to be an actual novel. So, like, similarly to what we talked about yesterday with podcasting, like with the episodes, you want it to kind of go in some sort of a flowing, like a chronological kind of order to where it makes sense. You don't want it to kind of jump around and then be all over the place. So, you want it to be as smooth as you're reading it or as you're following, the pages. You want it to feed into one another and then be a nice transition into the next section. So, now we're going to talk about the next step in our outline is creating the content or writing the content. So we want to basically come up with a draft for the ebook itself. So you want to, once you put down all your topics, you kind of have your brainstorm, your ideas, what might go where, maybe some bullet points, that kind of thing of how you actually want to start. Um, then you're going to start drafting your outline, start writing through your outline with your bullet points, that kind of thing. And then you want to focus on like clear, engaging content. So it has to be something to where you really want to draw people in. Um, then we're going to go into the edit and the revise phase to where you review your work, the clarity, coherence, and the grammar, most importantly, grammar. And you could potentially consider professional editing services if you choose to go that route. So, like a Fiverr or like an Upwork, if you want to outsource that and have somebody actually take that on, if you don't want to actually do that, that's also an option too. So, probably my favorite part of this whole thing is is designing the ebook. So we're going to talk about, right. Yep. So I would say, yeah, Sweetum. So we're not necessarily talking about KDP, which is, the Kinder Direct Publishing, but we're going to talk about like, it could be, I think ebook could mean, publishing a book on KDP. It could mean publishing a PDF, creating some sort of guide or product guide, or maybe like a, some sort of like notes or kind of a cheat sheet that you can actually sell. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a book. And it really doesn't matter like kind of where you're going to publish it or post it, but we'll kind of go into it a couple different places that are good options in order to publish it. So yeah, it's kind of like my thought is like open ended. So wherever you want to kind of go with it or whatever the idea is, this kind of covers everything. So not necessarily like a true, hardcore ebook. It could be, a guide, that kind of thing. Um, so when you go to think about for designing, you want to format the text. So you want to make sure the text, the font is consistent. You want to make sure the headings are all lined up and they're all the same, because you don't want, a really big font on one side, one section, and then the fonts are smaller as you go along. Plus, the fact that it's digital, it should be really easy to kind of keep everything as consistent, as clean as possible. And definitely you want to have a professional look to the entire book, or nobody's really going to want to read it or flip through it if it's something that doesn't look professional, if it looks like it's not fully put together. So adding images and graphics is definitely going to be able to enhance the book as a whole. Enhancing the content with maybe different types of graphs, could be charts, could be anything that you can really kind of spruce it up a little bit and make it a little extra, something a little extra. So consider putting some of that stuff in there. So yeah, so actually, we're gonna flip the camera around here in a moment. We're gonna go over to Canva, and I'm gonna show you guys the book templates, which there's got to be like 100,000 templates in there. So we'll just go through those, and I'll kind of go through this a little quicker because I know this is like the boring part. So designing the cover is next. And then when you choose to, the final part is like publishing the ebook. We're going to talk about choosing the platform, convert it to an ebook format, upload and publish, and then marketing. So however you want to market the book. So, okay, let's flip this around. Let's get into Canva. I'm going to stop talking. So get it off my face, and then we will get over to, let's get over to a little live demonstration here. Okay. Let me flip this thing around here. Okay, let me just get my bearings here real quick. Okay, so as you guys can see, we're in Canva right now, and we are going to, it's really super simple. You can do this with a free account. So we're gonna go over here to the main menu of Canva right here, and we're gonna type in, start typing in ebook. And then once you type that in, you can see down here, you have ebook cover, you have search for ebook, you have multiple pages, templates. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to ebook template pages. So as you can see, there's, holy moly, there's about 143,000 templates, which is pretty nuts. So you'll be able to notice anything here that has a little crown next to it in the corner is going to be that's going to be a Canva Pro feature. So you're going to need to have Canva Pro, the Canva Pro license in order to view those templates. But there's plenty of them that don't need the template. I mean, that don't need Canva Pro. So in case you're interested, Canva Pro is about $119 a year, but it's definitely worth it if you can work it into your budget. Okay. So what we can do is we can, if you want to just sit here and we can scroll down and you can see if there's something that kind of stands out, or what you can do is you can either sort it by category. So they have all the categories here, business, social media, education, video marketing, printing products, that kind of thing. Or you can go and you could sort it by filter. So what that means is you can sort it by category here, but at the same time, you can actually sort by, fun, new, creative, corporate, all that kind of thing. And it breaks down how many actually templates are a part of this style right here. And then if you want to break it down by theme, there's even more themes here, which is pretty crazy, down this far. And you can just keep scrolling down. And there's a lot. Jeez, there's a lot. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to see, you guys have, anybody out there, do you guys have an idea of, so what kind of style or what kind of theme do you think that we should go for, in terms of like topic? So we'll go through this process live, and we can definitely work through it together. So anybody have any ideas about what kind of theme or what topic you guys want to see, or you want to select, and we can work through the template? And it doesn't have to be exact. We can find something that's somewhat close. So, okay, cookbook, perfect. Okay, all right, sweetheart. So we're gonna do cookbook. So let's see if we can find, you know what? We might be able to actually type it in. Can we type in category? You know what? Let's do this. Okay, all filters. Let's see if we can find cookbook. So style, theme. How about, maybe it might be under theme. Okay, so let's see. We're just gonna look real quick. Theme, cover, spring, floral, book. Okay, I'm not seeing anything yet. I would have thought cookbook would have been up here. Okay, let's keep going down. Maybe we can do topic. I'm surprised they don't have a search in here that you can search. Unless we could do, let's try this. Let's go over here. Let's go over here to ebook template. Let's do ebook. Hey, Bookie Wookies, how you doing? Cookie, why did I type in cookie? Cooking. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, definitely excited to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so that did the trick, you guys. So all I did was in the search bar, I just put ebook cooking template pages, and this is basically what it comes up with. And believe it or not, there's actually 150. How is there more templates? There's there's 159,000 templates basically. So we're gonna run through. Okay, so now that we have something about cooking, let's see what we can find here. Actually, I already like this one. Yeah, so Bookie Wookies, this program is Canva. So this is Canva, just like an online photo editor program. So I actually really like this already because it's kind of unique. And let's click on this and let's just kind of see. I already like the image right here. So let's click on customize this template. So that's really what we would do as far as going through and let me move this over so we can see this. Okay, so that's all we do as far as picking out a template itself. So that was pretty simple. So that's basically like the first step as far as like designing your cookbook or whatever it is, or whatever kind of ebook. So for this example, Sweetum suggested cooking or cookbook. So we're gonna go with that. Hey Kimo, hey, you're not late. Nope, you didn't miss anything. We're just getting started. Yep. So we're just talking about covering ebooks, the different ways that you can, the different ways as far as whether you create an ebook for like a novel or actually creating some sort of maybe like a PDF guide, that kind of thing, or really anything. It doesn't have to be like a novel book itself, but it basically can be anything that's electronic. So it could be like in a book, format like a KDP, could be Mobi, could be a PDF. So we'll get into those details a little bit later, but we just wanted to walk through what it would be like to actually create a book. So okay, so it actually looks like this right here is just the cover. So because it looks like it says cover right here, so we may have to go back. We may actually have to go back. Okay, so that's just the cover. So let's see if we can find. Okay, you know what it is. So if you hover over, when you guys are in Canva, if you hover over the actual template, you can see right here, it doesn't say like one of two, one of three, one of four. Um, so if it does, like this one, then that means, it's the actual, like, it's got more pages in the book. So let's actually find something else. Let's find a different cover that we like, that we can see here. Something that is super unique. Actually, I like this one, but this one's just a cover too, it looks like. So we want to actually find a book itself. So this one's one of four. Let's see. Okay. That one's a cover. I just want to find something that one's a cover too. We just want to find something that actually looks like we can start customizing it, and not have something that's just, we don't want it to just be a cover. We want the full book. So I'm just going to scroll and I apologize. Hope I don't make you guys sick real quick. I just want to keep going down till we find something. I'm just seeing covers for some reason. Is a cookbook? No, that's a cover. Okay. Okay, let's see. I swear, we're really striking out with just we're just finding covers and not the actual book. Hey, Dragon Rider, thank you so much for being back. Back for day 9. Is that crazy? We're already on day 9. That's pretty insane. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, so sorry, I know this is kind of boring. I'm just trying to find one that's an actual book and not just a cover. Something we can start customizing. Okay. Yeah, definitely. We can definitely do that for sure. You know what? So let's do this. Actually, I saw one at the very top. Sorry. I know everybody's getting. Let's just use this one. You know what? Because I know this one is the actual cover, but it also has like contents and everything in it. So how about that? So that works. Okay, here we go. That way we're not going to waste too much more time with this. So okay, so first thing we're going to do is, um, since Sweetums suggested a cookbook, we are going to we're going to focus on designing this. So the first thing we're going to do is I like to actually use, so this image that we see right here is actually the background image. So this plate, you can't drag it off. So if you were going to try to delete it, it would delete the entire thing. So the first place that I would look for setting up a really nice background image would be to go to either unsplash.com or go to pexels.com. So we're going to go to Unsplash and we're going to type in, let's see, how about we just do, let's see, we're going to type in food collage. Yeah, so the dimensions are, this one is, you know what, let me see if we can, okay, so this one is, let me see if we can figure out what the size is. Custom size. Okay, so the dimensions of the cover itself is going to be 512 by 800 pixels. So that's that one. So let me put that in the live stream here. So 512 by 800 pixels for the ebook. Okay, cool. Okay, there we go. So I just want to make sure we put that in there. So, all right. So let me go over here. Where are we at? Sorry, I'm making you guys dizzy. Okay, so we're over here at we're at unsplash.com. Yep, so that's like the size of the template for within Canva. So but you know what? Let's just double check. Let's see. I'm just curious. What is the typical size pixel for ebook? Let's see what it says here. Okay, so the standard size for an ebook cover image is 1500 by 1800 pixels wide. And if the image is 1500 by wide, the height should be 2400 for best quality for the cover. Okay, so that's for the cover. Okay, so 1600 by, let's see, let's copy this and we'll put this in the chat too. Okay. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually go and we can resize that. So if we wanted to do, you know, we can just say this could still be our cover. So if we wanted to focus on this as our cover, we can still use that as a cover and then we can go through and we can actually kind of customize this. So that might actually be cool to be able to do the cover separate. So let's do that. So the first thing we're going to do, so what should we focus on as far as this ebook? Like what should it be cooking about? So I know it could be a bunch of different topics, but if we had to think of a topic like, you know, breakfast foods or like lunch or dinner or certain type of food, what do you guys think? So what should we what kind of food should we make this cookbook about? All right, perfect. Okay. No cook recipes for summer. Got it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I think we should look for a title, right? Or not a title, but we should look for an image that really kind of embodies summer. So let's do that first. So we're gonna look over here on Unsplash because all remember all these images are royalty and commercial free. So we're gonna do, how about summer cooking? Okay, and then we're gonna scroll down and oh yeah, I like that. Sandwiches, wraps, and salads. Okay, that's perfect, Kumo. Definitely. Thank you for the suggestion. So let's see what we can find here. So I actually really like this one. This is only bagels, I guess. So let's keep looking here. Let's see. What about, okay. So this is all grilling stuff. So you know what? How about we use that one? I like that. That kind of goes along with sandwiches and wraps and stuff, even though it's about a bagel. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit download. Oh, you know what? This is Unsplash Plus. So that is a premium license that we don't have. So let me actually get out of that one. I don't know why I search. Why did it come up on that one? Okay. Anyway, let's go down to free. Here we go. Okay. Hey, Vio, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. So we are designing a ebook right now. So the topic is no cook recipes for summer, and like sandwiches and wraps and salads and stuff. So that's what we're designing. So we're looking for an image on Unsplash, and we're gonna design the cover real quick. So I really appreciate you coming back. Thank you so much. If okay, all right. So how about we pick something like? Actually, let me do this. Okay, this looks nice. So how about we do this one? Okay, so we're gonna do this one. So this is gonna be our cover photo. So we're gonna come in here and we're gonna do upload. All right, so we're gonna do upload, and we'll come back in Canva here, and then we're gonna do upload files, and then upload this one. Okay, so we're gonna take this image out. Okay, and then all you gotta do is take this and you're gonna drag it in. So if we go over here, then we can actually see all you have to do, because this outline right here is a frame, so we can stretch it out a little bit more. We can keep it the same cover. Um, sure, I like that name, Chemo. Yeah, no heat, no hassle. That's perfect. So how about we do something like this? No heat. That's perfect. And then we can make this down a little bit. We can drag this out. And then what you can do is you can even, if you want to make this a little bit bigger to kind of fill it in the size a little bit, you can either drag this right here this way, or what you can do is you can go up to the top here and you can just hit the plus sign. And as long as the purple square is around, you can, that's what's going to increase. So as far as like the font goes. So thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the idea. That's a great idea. So, okay. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. There we go. And then this right here, what we could say is, how about we say, we'll just put my name. Okay. So, and then up here, what we can do is, if you want to keep this, we can keep this, or we can have, so 50 recipes. Maybe what we can do is say, how about this? Instead of 50 recipes, we could say, no cook. Oh, how about, what do you think? What about, how about easy? Easy recipes. Or quick or something like that. Quick recipes. How about we'll just stick with easy. Okay. So what do you guys think of the cover so far? So this is really kind of, yeah, definitely. Uh, if okay, so this software here is just Canva. So I'm just using Canva. So it's just Canva to create the software. So, I mean, sorry, to create the book. So right now we're just creating the cover. So we want to do that separate. And this is basically like how we would walk through this. So you can let your creative mind just kind of take off. So, of course, this right here is going to be a frame. So we just got it from a template. So, okay, so this is going to be our cover. So let's just say let's just say this as book cover. And we'll just create that. And remember, what we're going to want to do is we want to save this right here. So, because we're not saving the entire thing yet. So when we save the entire thing, we're going to probably save it as, most likely it's going to be a PDF, because that's probably the easiest to download. But what we'll do is we'll save it as PNG, because we want the background, all this image It's basically like the cover is the same as like a featured image. So you really want this to be really clear. So we're going to download it and then we'll pull it up and we'll see what it looks like here. Okay. That's looking great, you guys. Do you guys like that? I mean, you saw, so like that wasn't this wasn't that difficult. Honestly, all we did was we picked out a template from Canva, which was free, and then this image right here, we took the image itself from unsplash.com, which is royalty and commercial free um, site. And that way we wanted to make sure that there wouldn't be any problems with any kind of copyright or anything like that. So yeah, that was we got the template, we put in some font in there, changed the font a little bit, or actually we didn't change the font, changed the wording, and then we just swapped in a royalty free image. And I mean, we could even just go and kind of swap out change the background if we wanted to, or we could leave it that kind of like tannish, kind of sandy color. So I think it looks great, like just the way it is, right? So yeah, this is definitely something that I think legitimately could be a real book. Could start out being a real book. So, um, okay, let me flip it back around. Let's get back to business here. All right, so I guess bring this down a little bit. Okay, how are we doing out there? Are you guys doing all right? As far as does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Dragon Rider. Yeah, I think it looks fantastic too. It's so cool that like legitimately, obviously, when you're thinking about doing like a novel or something that's a little more I think that's going to be longer and have chapters and actual text, that kind of thing, like for a novel. um yeah, so what we can do is we're going to do a mix of we can do a mix of chat gpt and to kind of get an outline. And then what we'll do is we're going to actually copy and paste that within our template here in Canva. So now that we have the cover, we're going to come back over here and we're going to go to this right here. So since we don't need this first one right here, because this is essentially like a cover page, we can either keep this or we can actually delete it. So if you want to delete it, we can just do this and just hit delete. And then this becomes technically our page one. So this right here, because we're doing a cookbook and not like a novel, it's definitely going to look a little bit different. Hey, Laura Sarth, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. We're just talking about how to create an ebook. So the example and the live demo we're doing is a cookbook. So it's basically like a no cook summer cookbook. So yeah, so that's what we're kind of doing. We're doing this live. So thanks for being here. Okay, so for contents up here, you can keep it as contents. You could put, change this to chapter, and you can change this to like, if you wanted to do something like, we could do, I mean, you could leave it as contents at the very top. And then chapter one, we could put something like, does anybody have any ideas as far as chapter one? So what should we make first? So I know the suggestion was, let me scroll back up here, was, okay. So no cook recipes, sandwich wraps, and salads. Okay. So how about we do this? So we'll do chapter one is sandwiches, and chapter two would be wraps, and then chapter three is salads. How about that? Did I spell it wrong? Okay. Sorry, Book of Wookies. I thought for a second I spelled it wrong. I was like, oh crap, I think I spelled it wrong. But okay. So and this really like comes the fun part as far as leaving it as is, or what we can do is we can obviously change the font. So if we find a font that looks a little better, something that's a little more maybe stands out a little more, we can change that. Maybe change it. I actually kind of like this one a little bit because it kind of gives it a little more feel. Make it something that, whoops. Oh, come on. Sorry about that. Okay. So make it something a little bit bigger, something a little bit that stands out. And the cool part about awesome, thank you, Kumo. I never know these days. So what we can do is if you want to keep it pretty standard here, you can keep it like a black and white. So obviously we're going to want to make all of the individual pages. So wraps and salads, you want to mirror what this font is. So we want to make sure everything is uniform. So this one is Hammersmith and it's about 32.6. So we'll highlight this and then click over here, Hammersmith 1, and then we'll go up to, you can do this or you can type it in. So 32.6. And then we'll do the same thing for salads. Okay. So, and then we'll go up to 32.6. Okay, cool. So then, of course, you know, obviously we can make this a little bit bigger. So let's make this, what do I put that at? About 15. Okay. And this is definitely something that, you know, obviously we're kind of doing this on the fly. So if it was something that we're legitimately going to put out and, you know, we wanted to really, you know, sell or, you know, kind of like produce or upload to a real, you know, I mean real like a publishing house, that kind of thing. We would definitely take a lot more time to kind of cultivate this and put it together. But I just want to show you guys what's possible as far as how you can do this through Canva. So it's not going to be perfect, but we'll make it as best we possibly can. So okay, so that looks good. So chapter 1 sandwiches, chapter 2 wraps, and then chapter 3 is salads. So yeah, yeah, absolutely, Dragon Red. You're right. It is great for bloggers and especially people that have cooking channels. So if you have recipes that you already have, like maybe recipes that you would love to like put in like a digital format or digital version, and then you can just copy and paste the recipe. And then so this would be page one, we'll show you. So chapter one right here, and we'll see. I'll show you how we're going to transform this here in a sec. But yeah, I totally agree. So, okay, so chapter one is sandwiches. So we're going to do chapter one. We want to keep everything uniform. So this is going to be at 15. So we want to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so 15. And then obviously it's going to be sandwiches. So we copy this. And then we want to go down here. We'll just copy that. So sandwiches. So I don't know, like, what do you guys think? But this kind of looks, it's a little difficult to read. So I don't know that we would use necessarily that font. But what we can do is let's go back over to Unsplash. And then we're going to look for something that has to do with sandwiches. So we'll just go over here. It's as simple as this. You go over here to Unsplash, and then you're going to type in sandwiches. And then don't forget, you want to go down here to license. And just to make sure, the Unsplash Plus is, you know, it's their premium tier, the premium version. So you just want to make sure that you click on free, and that way you don't have to worry about any licensing in any way, shape, or form. So you can use all those images, any of these images. And as you can tell, there's 1,800 of them. So I know we're kind of scrolling through this a little fast, but you know, because it's a live stream. But if you were to sit here and really kind of look and pick out the perfect one, then there's so many different options that you can choose. So we definitely want something light, something kind of vibrant. Um, yeah, yeah, definitely. These are the free ones. So one thing I want to mention real quick for you guys is, all right, so we have the cover. So since the book is going to be in more of like a vertical type, you know, kind of like a landscape, or what is this, portrait mode, the image in the background. So let's delete this. So delete the image. So now we're going to want to find an image to put in here. So for the actual cover page of chapter one. So let's go back over here, and we want to find, when you look for orientation right here, we're going to look for portrait. So that means just up and down basically, because the way that our book is going to be structured, it's going to be up and down. So it's going to be vertical. And remember, we want to make something that's pretty light, you know, not necessarily a dark background, because I think that would kind of, that wouldn't really stand out that well. So I actually kind of like this one. But I don't know how I feel about the shirt. Let's keep looking. I kind of like this one, but I don't know how I feel about the shirt. So I want something that's going to be a little lighter. This one actually looks nice. We got to remember that we're going to put text on there too. So, and we don't really want someone's hand like this one. Yeah, that's true. That is true though, right? Yeah. That could also be kind of used to our advantage, right? So let's see if we can find something. Yeah, I don't. Let's see. Let's load more. Okay. Dang, all these have somebody's hand in them. This one looks good too, actually. That's a little bit, I mean, you know what? Let's keep going because that one looks a little too busy. So um, we'll just, I promise we won't waste too much time on this. Okay, how about this one? Okay, we'll use this one. How about that? So even though it's not really a sandwich, it's kind of a burger, but it'll still work for this example. So we'll just hit download and then we're going to download original size over here. And that way it's going to give you the highest quality that we could possibly get. So once we have that, we're going to go back in to our template here, and then we're going to upload again. So click on uploads and then upload files, and then we're going to go to your image. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So we're going to import it right here, and we're going to make this image right here. We're going to make it the background. So all you have to do is right click. I don't know if you guys can see that at the very bottom. It says down here, set image background. So then what it's going to do is it's going to fill out. So it'll fill out the image right here. And the best part about making sure that you have a portrait image or like a vertical image is that if it was horizontal, you know, this way, then it wouldn't look good. You'd have to stretch it out and do all that. So as long as it's like this, then you know it's going to be, the image is going to look really crisp and clear. And you're going to have something that, you know, you're going to be proud of. So let's pull this up a little bit because we don't want the text covering up the actual image. And actually, this doesn't look too bad. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this too hard to read, that font? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dragon Rider. Yeah, definitely. So, do you guys think this is a little bit too, as far as the portion or the size portion of like the image versus like the font and the size? How do you think that looks? Do you think that looks good, or do we need to make this a little bit bigger? Oh yeah, I totally agree. Awesome. Okay, so we'll keep it. We'll keep it. Okay. I love this input. This is so cool. So, okay, so we're gonna scroll down. We're gonna keep that. I'm gonna actually say, I don't think you can put apostrophes in things, but we'll just say food ebook. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job helping me put this together. Now I'm getting hungry. So, okay, so chapter one right here is sandwiches. So we're gonna scroll down, and this is a fun part right here. So this is where we can put the ingredients, or we can put first the ingredients, I would say, for the actual sandwich. And then we can go through and we can put another page and we can start adding the actual steps to bake it. So, or to make it. So let's, since we're gonna go with this theme, so let's say what did they say this was? So it's a, did they give it a title? Oh, they just said chicken sandwich. And actually this chicken sandwich is from Canada. So we'll just call it a, yeah, so actually, what we're gonna do is, that's a good question, Sweetum. So we are going to actually use Canva to design it, but we're gonna use um, ChatGPT to kind of give us an outline of, you know, if we don't know the ingredients. If you already have a recipe, that's really great. You can just kind of type it in. But if you don't have a recipe, what we can do, what we're gonna do is, I'll show you guys how to use ChatGPT, and we can at least just get some sort of a generic type outline, you know, like recipe wise. So, okay, so fried chicken and sauerkraut. There we go. We'll call that. That's what we'll call it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to type this. So fried chicken. Oops, put chicken, fried chicken, and fried chicken and sauerkraut sandwich. Okay, let me move this over a little bit. So what I think is a good thing to do at the very top is to put basically like the title of the recipe. So whatever the actual recipe you're gonna make is, so we're gonna call it the fried chicken and sauerkraut sandwich, because that kind of lines up with what we have right here. So okay, so we're gonna keep ingredients here, and then we're gonna go over to ChatGPT. So granted, if you have, just for the sake of this example, obviously, if you have a recipe and you want to actually put it together. You probably wouldn't be using ChatGPT, but just to show you the combination of using ChatGPT and Canva, and this is how, you know, you could at least get an outline. So, oh yeah, 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 yeah. You're right, Dragon Rider. Right, it is cooked, and I know we said no cook. Okay, well that's that is the beauty of doing this live. So yeah, so for this example, we'll just kind of keep going just to, yeah, I know, right? We said no cook. Okay, that was the original suggestion by Sweetums. Okay, so let's come up with a recipe. So we'll just say, let's see, let me see. Can you guys see that down here? I think is that showing? Yeah, I think that shows up. Okay, okay, sounds good. Okay, so we'll just say write me a simple recipe for, and I haven't spelled recipe right. Really? Recipe. All right, we'll just pretend it works. Okay. So write me a simple recipe for a, yep, as I'm typing it out, I'm like, oh yeah, as we said, it was not big. For fried chicken and sour, how do you spell sauerkraut? I don't even, sour. Sauerkraut sandwich. Okay. This is definitely live because I can't type. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's actually going to give us, it's going to break it all down for the entire recipe here. I'm like legitimately, I'm just super curious, like all kidding aside, like this is a recipe that an AI program just spit out for us. I mean, how good can this be, right? I mean, I I don't know. I'm kind of half kidding. Like I would like to try to see like what how this actually works, you know? Like how does it actually taste? Yeah, is that crazy, Dragon Rider? Right, it is. Yeah, legit. So, okay, so because we let's go over here and we have our spot for ingredients. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy all of the ingredients. Sorry. Okay, so the ingredients right here. Yeah, I'm really not sure like where it pulls from. I know that, ChatGPT as a whole like is a learning engine to where it's like an AI and it kind of builds off of what has been searched in the past. So I'm sure that it's pulled this recipe from somewhere. Somebody had to probably type it in or something. So all we do is we can take this out and then we'll just copy and paste this right here. So, and then we can move this up a little bit and then move this up. Okay. Let's move ingredients up a little bit. Oops, sorry. I know it's not centered. Okay, so we're gonna move that up a little bit. So here we go. We can actually move it up a little tiny bit more so it's centered. All right. And now what we can do is we can actually, um, so we can either use the same image or what we can do is we can find something else. It kind of makes sense to use the same image only because, if we have a different image, it may not be the same and it's going to look like, it might look like crap. So Yeah, that Qmo, that would definitely be a killer idea. Seriously, just creating food from recipes from AI and just randomly type it in like, hey, write me a recipe for this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually use the same image. So I'm gonna hit delete on this and I'm gonna bring this one in again. And the cool thing about this, so it's obviously you can see it's up and the actual size is not very conducive to like what we're trying to do, but you can actually take this and you can pull this down and you can also pull this up. So if you want to tweak this a little bit to make it a little more, to fit it in a little bit better, and then we can kind of size it up a little bit, and then we can pull it down. And then what you can do is you can actually, if you double click on the image itself, you can drag it around. So if you hold down with your mouse, you can actually drag it to where you want it, and you're gonna fit it in between this purple box. So if we keep it right around there to kind of center it. So yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, this is going great. So I'm just gonna make this up a little bit so the top of the bun, there we go. Okay, what do you guys think about this so far? Is this crazy? I mean, this is like, I gotta be completely honest, this is like better than kind of how I planned for this to go. Like when I was kind of thinking of this in my head, just kind of going through and actually following these steps. So, um, what do you guys think? I mean, this is, yeah, yeah, Sweetums. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. To be able to double click it and move it around. That's definitely saved my butt a bunch of times. Oh, thank you. So as you can see, like it stops this template right here, it stops at page 3. So obviously the next thing we'd want to do in the span of creating this, I don't think we necessarily need to, well, this is kind of for the sandwich, but we can obviously do another page and we could do that, go down and we could create and do the same thing and have like maybe then put this on the top or kind of tweak this around a little bit as far as, oh, thank you. Thank you, Kumo and Dragon Rider. Really appreciate it. So, what do you guys think? Should we put together? I know we didn't, because we're not gonna, we don't want to sit here and do the entire thing, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of how it looks. So, how about we do this for the sake of argument? Let's, I know this isn't the full recipe, but let's cut it here and then we'll move down and we'll add another chapter. So how about we do that? Does that sound good? So we'll just kind of leave the recipe kind of half done and then we'll add in the next chapter. So which is chapter 2 is wraps. Okay, so we'll do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to duplicate this page, right? Because we want it to look about the same. Obviously, we're going to change out the image. So if you want to bring it down, because we want to move it down to the bottom, right? So just hit down and you're going to notice it'll go to page 4. And then that's going to be at the bottom now. So this is going to be chapter, and then we're going to put chapter, and then we'll do O2, and then we're going to do change this to wraps. Oh, dang it. Okay, there we go. So, and then remember what we did. So we're gonna delete the background image. So we're gonna go back up here and we're gonna stay in Unsplash and we're gonna look for wraps. So let's just type in wraps right here. This is probably the hungriest live stream I've ever had, legitimately. So, you know what? Seriously, right off the bat, this one actually looks really good, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be the same thing. I just want to show you guys real quick how we'll just start with this and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's put together. So we'll just kind of PDF it together and then you can see what it'll look like. So let's download this real quick and then what we'll do is we will put it together. So we're gonna upload again. Is there anybody out there that's getting hungry? Are you guys getting hungry? Is there any kind of like red hearts or anything, any kind of like, you know, emoji or anything out there that to symbol hunger? Because I'm getting hungry and it's like almost 8 o'clock here. Okay, so we're gonna once again we're gonna hit set as background image, and then what we can do is we can drag this a little bit. All right, so since this image is full size, what we can do is if we actually detach it from the background, yeah, the recipe name for the wrap. Let's see, what was that? It was called. Okay, let's see if it tells us. Um, you know what? It just says chicken wrap actually on Unsplashed Sweetums. So yeah, unfortunately, it only says chicken wrap. I don't know why it's under ice cream images and pictures. That's kind of weird. Anyway, so we'll go back over here, and so what we can do is if we don't want this um, to be the full thing, because remember the text was kind of covering this. So there we go. All right, so I'm gonna drag this up. So I'll drag it out to the side real quick. Drag it out to the side, and then we'll drag this down. Okay, and then we want to drag this up a little bit. And then as you guys can see, you're like, well, what are you doing? Because you're blocking the text. So actually all we want to do is take this, right click and then hit layer. And then we're going to say move to the back or send to back. So that way the text shows up. So the text is now going to show up on the top. So if we pull this up a little bit, then all we have to do is we can actually change this, just change the font color here. Maybe we could change it to white instead of black. I don't actually know how much of a difference that made it, but just for this example. Okay, so chapter 2 wraps. Let's just make sure we have the same. I think we kept all the same size. Yeah, okay. So chapter 2 is going to be wraps. So we can pull this down, move it over a little bit. Okay. I love those. I love those different emojis. That's that's so cool. Thank you guys for encouraging me with the with the emojis. I got to take a sip of water here. Hey, Rod, thank you so much for coming back. We really appreciate it. Thank you. So happy to have you. So just want to say real quick, thank you so much for everybody who's in here. This is a 30-day challenge, and we're on day number, I can't believe it's day number 9. That's crazy. Day number 9, and we're talking about ebooks. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna flip it around. Let's enough of the chit chat in here. Doing well, doing well. How are you doing? Thank you for asking. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. It means a lot. Thank you for the support, Rod. Definitely. I definitely appreciate it. So, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna save this whole thing. So we'll just go up here to share. And so actually, you know what? We need to get our we need to import our what do you call it? We need to import a cover. I forgot about the cover. So we need to import the cover. So what we're gonna do, let's go all the way down. We're gonna add a page, so it's gonna be blank, and then we're gonna upload the cover, right? So we created book cover, and then we're gonna open that. Okay, so now once we have this, all we do, we should be able to just stretch it out all the way, and then it should just fit in very nicely. Boom. Okay, so because this right here is, we want this to be the first page, we're just gonna have to put this little arrow right here and just move it up. So we're gonna move it up until it says page 1. So 1, it says page 4. We just wanna move it up to the very top because this is gonna be our book cover. Okay, so we got page 1, then we got the contents, then we got chapter 1, and then we have chapter 2 and so on. Okay, so this is the part where we're gonna actually like, we're gonna import, not sorry, not import it, but we're gonna save it slash export. So we're gonna go over here to share in Canva, and here's the different options you can do. So you have to hit download, and then what we want to do is PDF standard. That's definitely the way to go because it's going to be for documents and emailing and also downloading. So we're going to choose PDF standard, and then we don't want to do flatten. So flatten right here, it converts your the content of your design into one single image per page. So we don't want to do that because we want to keep it as original as possible. So, and we want to include all 5 pages. So we want all the pages in order. So then all we're going to do is click on done and then click on download. And so it's going to go through and it's going to create our ebook here. Look at that. It already created the book. Okay. So let's take a look. So let me actually zoom out a little bit so you guys can see what this looks like a little bit better. Okay, so this is a cover page for our ebook right here. And we're going to go down. Can you hit down arrow? Maybe you can on this side. Yeah, you can. Okay, cool. So I'm going to hit the down arrow to go down to the next page. So we have our contents, we have our chapters, we have wrap salad. Yeah, definitely Book of Wookies. It was really fast. And this is something that just because, it looks simple and it's kind of one of those things where, we didn't take that much time. Really the whole point is to kind of go through and give you guys an example of like how you could do it, how you could structure it. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a cookbook, if you're doing a novel, if you're doing, whatever else it is. Any kind of ebook. This could also be something in terms of if you wanted to have like a PDF downloadable. So that could also, I mean, technically that's an ebook too. It doesn't just have to be a novel. So we'll scroll down. Chapter 1, sandwiches. Now we're all getting hungry. Now we're getting hungry. So this is actually built in. So this right here is Chrome. Chrome built in, but the Mac has a built-in PDF reader. It's called Preview. So it'll just open that way. Or what you can do is you can go and where is it? Download, and you can do open with. And there's a couple different options like on a Mac. So you can open it with books. And that's the default program that comes with Apple. That comes with like a Mac. So if you guys have a Mac, um, you could use that, and it just pulls it up right over here. So it gives you everything is super high res because we created it in Canva, so we know that the resolution is high, and then we can even just go down. We can scroll out a little bit. If you want to go over here and you can do table of contents on the side. Actually, it didn't list them, but that's okay. So let's do thumbnails. And then you can just scroll down and it can give you kind of like an abbreviated version of, what it looks like. So yeah, so this is actually the program. So this is our PDF. This is the program on the Mac. So in books. So it's basically, they have, books that you can buy, that kind of thing. But we do have our book. Where is our book at? We just had it. Here we go. Okay. That's it. No hassle. I mean, no heat, no hassle. Except for the fact that we made a chicken sandwich. That's that you have to actually cook. So yeah. What yeah, so okay. So we can kind of get back to like what the whole foundation of this live stream is about. So Book of Wookies hit it right on the nail right on the head. So what platforms could you sell this on? So we're gonna break it down, and there's a couple that come to mind right away. So the best platforms, I think, as far as choosing the format to sell. So there's a couple different formats. So there's really 4 formats that you can sell on. So we're gonna break down this format. So the first one it's called EPUB, and that's just like the extension. So it stands for electronic publication. So that one, we'll go through kind of like the pros and cons of all of them. And then I promise at the end, we'll go over some platforms. And we also have some royalty rates at the end of each platform. So I chose 1, 2, 3. So the top 5, 6, the top 6. So the top 6 platforms that pay the best. So, okay, so the format is going to be, yep, EPUB. Yep, so EPUB, so electronic publication, and this one widely supported across various devices and platforms. It's got reflowable text, basically ideal for readers on like a Kobo, a Nook, like a Barnes & Noble Nook, and Apple Books. So some of the cons of this particular format is formatting limitations compared to like a fixed format layout. So in other words, depending on how you actually format it, if you want it, in terms of paragraphs versus headers, there might be a little, it might be a little more kind of rigid or stuck in place as far as how simple or how flexible the formatting is. But that's just one book format. So keep in mind, I mean, there's nothing that says you can't export your book in all of these different formats. So awesome. Yeah, Sweetum says most of the books I read or I download for reading on my phone are EPUB. Perfect. Yep. So that's definitely when you come when you decide on what the format's going to be at first. And like to be completely honest, I don't see why you couldn't create the book in multiple formats. So EPUB is going to be number one. That's going to be the first one. The second one is Mobi. So Mobi Pocket is the long name of that one. So this one is specifically designed for like Amazon Kindle devices, and that one offers, if you guys have heard of DRM, so it's digital rights management protection. Basically, it's kind of the same thing as copyright, but it's like digital rights for like a book. So the cons to this one for the Mobi format itself, that's limited to Amazon's ecosystem, and it's definitely less flexible than like the EPUB format. So I'm assuming Mobi you can probably only sell on like the like KDP, I think. Those two might kind of go hand in hand. So, yep. Thank you, Sweetums. I appreciate that. Okay, so next is going to be your um, AZW or AZW3, which is specifically Amazon Kindle format. So, the pros of this is that Amazon's proprietary format, it supports advanced formatting options, and it's ideal for like if you have a bunch of Kindle devices or apps. So, yep. So I think the Mobi and the AZW, those are primarily Amazon. So obviously we're coming down to PDF, which everybody knows about PDF. So portable document format, if you're unsure what that stands for. So, yep, that's it. Thank you, Sweetums, for posting that. So the pros for PDF is a fixed layout, like you guys saw, maintains formatting across all devices. So basically, it's stuck kind of in the format that you created, which is really nice. So it's definitely ideal for like textbooks, for like graphic novels, and other like really heavily formatted documents. In terms of if you have like a bunch of different layers, so like text, and you have bullet points, and then maybe you have some images or some graphs, that kind of thing. So so the cons for PDF is it's not reflowable. It can be difficult to read on small screens and larger file sizes. So you may have to kind of like pinch to zoom, depending on how small the font actually is. So number five, I actually haven't heard of this one too much. I know it's been around, but I haven't heard of this one. So number five is IBA, so iBooks Author. So this one is actually specifically designed for Apple Books. So if you're familiar with Apple Books, that comes with any kind of like Apple, Mac, laptop, desktop, that kind of thing. And it supports interactive content and multimedia. So basically what that means is you can put, animated GIFs in there. You can put movies, you can embed videos, pictures, that kind of thing. The big con of this format is that it is only limited to Apple devices. So, and it does require iBooks Author software for creation. So basically that is a bolt-on. The iBooks Author software is a bolt-on for iBooks. So if you're an author and you actually want to create your book specifically for, Apple users, then you would use iBooks Author software. So, yep. So IBA stands, yep. So IBA is iBooks, so like iPhone or like iPad, that kind of thing. So it stands for iBooks. So sorry, the I is lowercase and author. So iBooks Author. Have I totally confused you guys? I'm just going to refill this water real quick. If I can do it here. Dang. Okay, there we go. Sorry to that, like, smash everybody's ears. Okay, there we go. Okay, come on. All right, good. Got to stay hydrated here. Okay, so let's get into the good stuff. After you publish the book, And remember, I mean, this doesn't necessarily mean like book, like novel. I mean, it could be something like, a cookbook or some other type of like graphic novel. So really what we made was like a shortened version of something that you may want to sell kind of like on your own, as far as maybe not one of these markets. It could be something that you can just sell as like a downloadable. Um, yeah, let's get into the getting. Who's ready for getting into talking about getting paid? If you're an author out there, if you're interested in doing this, I mean, this like legitimately, you guys saw like kind of how easy this was. I mean, I'm not even do the air quotes. I mean, this was pretty easy to put together, right? You get the images, you figure out, what chapters you want to have. It just takes time to actually put it together. But once you do it, it's a one-time thing. You put it together and then boom, you can start selling it. So, all right, without further ado, so platforms that pay authors the most. So, number one, here we go. Before I actually tell you, let's time out for a second. What do you guys think? If you had to kind of guess, um, does anybody want to take a guess at you know, what the top, one or two are, as far as like, okay, so Laura Sart says KDP, Bookie Wookie says Amazon. So we'll just kind of combine those as the same thing, the same answer. What about anybody else? Anybody else want to kind of guess what is on? So it looks like one, two. So I have six on this list. Okay. So Amazon too. Okay. Yeah, you guys definitely know your books. So number one is Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. So Amazon KDP. And I know a lot of you guys said that, so congratulations. That's awesome. Yep. Okay, so royalty rates for Amazon KDP. So 35% or 70%, depending on the pricing and the distribution options. So basically, what that means is, how you price your book, and as far as distribution, like how far it gets distributed. So, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, great job, Lauren. That's cool. So, okay. So the pros of using Amazon KDP. So this isn't going to surprise anybody. Largest market share, extensive promotional tools, Kindle Unlimited and Amazon Prime inclusion can increase visibility. So basically, like these, this book would show up under Kindle Unlimited plan if you have that, and then Amazon would promote that for you, and also under Amazon Prime, because though, can you imagine like the reach that those tools would have just alone? So let's get to the cons. There's always a con, right? So the con is exclusivity required for KDP Select and high competition. So basically, exclusivity means you would have to release it just for that platform. So KDP Select. So there is a I'm sure there's an extreme vetting process that they kind of take you through. So in terms of having to actually like publish on KDP. So Dragon Rider, good question. So is it free to sign up and sell on Amazon KDP? Yes, so it is. So it is free to publish a book on Amazon KDP. The platform doesn't charge any upfront fees for uploading and publishing a book, which is pretty bonkers. So here's a couple of different notes that I have on here. So free to publish. So there are no costs to upload your manuscript, cover, format your book, or list it for sale on Amazon. So here's the kind of asterisk here. So yep. So that's what it sounds. So I think you wouldn't be able to publish the exact, um, kind of formatted book, is what it sounds like. Yep. So it is free to publish. Amazon does obviously take a percent of the sales. For ebooks, you can regularly choose between two royalty options, 35% or 70%, depending on the price of your book and the distribution rights. We already kind of talked about that. For paperback books, Amazon calculates royalties based on the list price you set minus the printing cost and a fixed percentage. So with us doing these digital books, I mean, that wipes that whole thing away because it's not a paperback. Um, so if you did choose to do a paperback, the printing cost, um, they are deducted from your royalties. So whatever those costs are, they're going to deduct from your actual book. So whatever you would get. So yeah, no, those are great questions. So okay, so we're going to move along here. So the second platform that pays the best is drumroll. I don't know if you guys can hear that or it just sounds like a bunch of horses running through the field. Apple Books. So Apple Books is number two. So the royalty rates for yeah, I think you can Bookie Wookies. Yeah, so you could, I'm sure you can make minor changes and then publish it somewhere else because you're not publishing the exact same content in the exact same book. So, and maybe what you could do is change the cover. You could tweak that a little bit, maybe tweak some of the chapters as far as like the title and even maybe add a paragraph or two here and there. So really just as far as like tweaking it a little bit, that would essentially make it a brand new book, in terms of, licensing as far as that goes. So that's kind of, I think, a way or kind of like a loophole that you can get around that. So yeah, definitely. That's a great idea. Yeah. So, I mean, that's something to kind of think about. So, okay. So we said Apple Books has 70% on all sales. So here are the pros. So this is actually a pretty big pro. So no exclusivity required. That means you don't have to only publish your book with Apple. A large user base, which is obvious, because there's a lot of people that are fans of Apple products. And it integrates well with the Apple ecosystem. So to me, what this says is you could have a book. Let's just say it's a cookbook. You publish it with KDP, which is for free on Amazon. So you do that, and then you take it, you tweak a little bit, and you customize it, you cultivate it a little bit to where you can sell it on Apple Books, right? Basically the same cookbook, if you will, but just change some of the things that we talked about. Maybe change the cover completely, maybe change some of the paragraph or the headers and add maybe some new paragraphs or some new images, and then you're effectively basically making a new book, but it's the same. So the bulk of the work you've already done, but you're really just kind of tweaking. So um, okay, so the one con for Apple Books, yeah, yep, sorry, Kimo, yes. So this is the IBO, the IBA, sorry, IBA format for the Apple Books. Yep. So it requires access to a Mac for direct publishing, and there's less market share compared to Amazon. I wouldn't really worry about the market share, but basically, you do need to have a Mac in order to direct publish it. So you don't necessarily have to go out and buy one. What you can do is basically, once you have all your files, if you know somebody that happens to have a Mac, you could really kind of use theirs or, you know, use it through that. So, I mean, you could kind of leverage, if you have a family or a friend or somebody that just for, uploading it. So that might be something that if you don't have anybody in your family, friends, circle, network that has a Mac, then this one may not be an avenue you want to go down, which is totally cool. I mean, you don't have to do all these, but this is just kind of giving you guys like opening up their mind to what are the different platforms. Okay, so number three is Barnes and Noble Press. So the royalty rates for oh, sorry, Bookie Wookies, I didn't see that. I was just going along. I was just humming along here. Okay, so did you mention how much of the profit you get to keep? So yeah, so the royalty rates basically so for Apple Books, let's back up for a sec, sorry. So for KDP, it's either going to be 35% you get to keep or 70% depending on the pricing and the distribution options. So I think that would mean like how far it gets distributed or what the spread or the span like in terms of how wide on Amazon it gets distributed. So yeah, Barnes and Noble is still around. That's pretty crazy. They do have physical stores, but also it sounds like they have a pretty big digital platform as far as these ebooks. So Real quick, Apple Books, you get to keep 70% of on all sales. So that's your profit, 70%, and Apple takes 30%. So, okay, so for Barnes and Noble, they call it Barnes and Noble Press. So Barnes and Noble, the royalty rates is 65% uh, is what you profit for books priced between $3, $2.99, and $199.99. So basically, if you price your book between $3 and $200, then you'll get 65%. So that's a pretty wide spread. I mean, I don't know anybody that has a book for more than $200. I mean, have you guys seen that? Have you seen a book that's I mean, $200 for a book? I don't know, maybe like a super thick like picture book or something. I don't know. I didn't think the books cost that much. I thought maybe like $100 max, but I didn't think it was $200 for a book. I don't know. I guess I've never seen that before. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. Wow, really? Okay. Yeah, out of print books, that actually makes sense. So out of print books, I can see. Oh, that's true. That's true, right? I didn't think about that. College textbooks. Yeah, definitely. That's also one that is probably definitely an arm and a leg. So so rare books, out of print books, and yep, Loris Arts definitely says in their country a book can be as much as 12. Whoa, $1,200 for a book. That's pretty nuts. I just can't believe it's that expensive. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, even like ebook versions. I mean, that's something that's like yeah, I was wondering that too. If you don't mind sharing, Loris, I was curious about that too. $1,200 for a book. Holy moly. No way. Are you serious? Trinidad and Tobago. That's so cool. That is so very cool. That's awesome. Dragon Rider. Yeah. So it definitely sounds like it is a numbers game in terms of like how far you can spread your reach with your book. Um, I think you can definitely make money with just a couple of books. I mean, I don't necessarily think, you need to have like a couple hundred. I mean, you definitely can, but in terms of it really depends on it really depends on, I guess, how long your book is, what the topic is, what the niche is, that kind of thing. Is it more of like a picture book or like a novel? So I think there's a lot that kind of goes into that as far as, I definitely agree it's a numbers game, but I think you can absolutely succeed. Like, you hear people that just make like one children's book and then, they do really well with that. So I think it really depends on what the actual book is, the topic. Um, so yeah. That is so cool. I love this. Like, I think that made my night. Just seriously, like the fact that there's this connection right here to Trinidad and Tobago. I love that. That is so cool. Seriously, last night, Sweetums, where do we have? So we have some community members part of this community, this channel from New Zealand, Philippines, um, and now Trinidad and Tobago. What a small world. That's so cool. Bookie Wookies, really? You've even seen people promote blank books? Really? How does that even work? Do they just do like the shell of the book? Or like, that's crazy. Yeah, journals. Okay, yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yep. Yeah, I got it, Bookie Wookies. Yep. Yeah, I love that. And then we had, dang, I mean, like, that blows me away. Seriously, like, that blows me away. Just the cover, and it's a blank journal. So is something like that, Bookie Wookies, do you know, is that something that's more of like is that an Etsy marketplace type sale there versus like, an Amazon or a Barnes and Noble kind of thing? Wow. I mean, that's an example. You guys, everybody who's like watching this, I mean, what Bookie Wookies is saying, what they're talking about is a KDP book. Okay. What they're talking about is just a blank journal. So basically, like, you create this template of a blank journal, and then you create a cover for it, um, and just maybe a little quote here and there. I mean, I don't want to say there's no effort because that's not true, and I don't want to diminish anybody's work ethic, but like that's pretty dang simple if you ask me, or it sounds simple. It sounds simple. Wow. Makes coloring books. Wookie Wookie says I watch KDP tutorials and Skillshare, and there's a guy who makes coloring books with AI. Holy crap. That's so cool. I mean, we talk about this like all the time, right? On this channel and even this 30-day challenge. Like, I mean, the power of AI when you're doing it to streamline your process, to automate your process, to have something that can give you a product. I mean, literally create a product, it blows my mind. I mean, that this is something, that's the kind of technology we live in, or that's the kind of world we live in. Yep, I love that. And the best part about this, doing this, having you guys here, being a part of these live streams, is that is just that. Sharing with, information, little tidbits, little nuggets like that with one another. The fact that, you know, that basically just came out and somebody's making color books with AI. I mean, everybody here should definitely be researching that kind of thing if you're interested in, this ebook business model type thing. So that just proves there are so many possibilities to making money online with ebooks. Yeah, exactly right. Cookbook who? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Bookie Wiki says it was dinosaurs driving trucks and it sold like what? I mean, like, all kidding aside, uh, that's insane. It's insane because like you create that once, right? I mean, if you're creating those images for like the coloring book images and you're creating them in AI, then you're not really doing anything per se, right? You're not drawing them by hand. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, if you're not coming up with the designs and the images just for like the coloring part by hand and you're having AI do it, you're really just creating like the cover, right? And you're putting it together. You're just formatting everything. Now I think I'm gonna look into something like that. I mean, that is super, super intriguing to me. And like in terms of just making money as like a side hustle from an ebook, the possibilities are absolutely endless. So I love how we can kind of, these ideas, they get shared with everybody here on this live stream, and maybe somebody out there that's watching this or is going to watch a replay all of a sudden is like, hey, you know what, I just got an idea and maybe I can start doing that for making some extra money for my family or whatever the case is. I love that. That's such a great idea. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. My wheels are definitely turning. I don't know about you guys, but my wheels are definitely turning. So yeah, that is pretty dang awesome. I can't believe it. I mean, that's how crazy this kind of thing is, right? I mean, it's just the possibilities are endless. So, okay, so let's move forward here. So we're gonna keep talking about, okay, so Barnes and Noble. All right, so Barnes and Noble, the pros are it's an established brand over who knows how many years, um, but everybody knows Barnes and Noble. So no exclusivity required, which means that you can publish your book on multiple platforms. Um, yeah, definitely. I'm sure it did. Bookie Wookies went wild on TikTok. Absolutely. That's all it takes is one time in your hand, and then done. That's it. I'm sure it spread. It spread like crazy. So, and there is additional print-on-demand services through Barnes and Noble, which is cool. Um, so, right on. Yep. Yeah. So, okay. So the cons for Barnes and Noble is it is a smaller market share compared to Amazon, but once again, it doesn't mean that you can't, you know, carve out a little bit of that market share for yourself. So, okay, so number four is Kobo Writing Life. I've actually never heard of this. Have you guys heard of Kobo? Kobo? Kobo Writing Life. I've never actually heard of this before. I'm not sure. Maybe this is not in the States. I'm not sure. Um, but anybody out there heard of it? Kobo? Kobo? I'm just curious. Yeah. Yeah, so it might not be in the United States. Okay. So royalty rates is 70% for books priced between 2.99 and 9.99. Um, okay, here we go. Pros: international reach, partnerships with local bookstores, and supports multiple formats. Um, and the cons is it definitely sounds like it's a smaller market share compared to Apple and Amazon, which makes sense. Okay, so we're coming up on the final two here. So Google Play Books. So basically, that's like your equivalent of like Apple, right? So the royalty rates are typically 70%, but the terms can vary. So that must mean that they have their own like criteria. Yeah, nobody knows what it is. Yep. Sorry, Kobo. Nobody knows what the heck it is. But maybe that's something that's good, right? To try to get in. If nobody knows who it is, maybe the people that are like loyal kind of followers of that, maybe you might be able to capitalize on that. So, okay, Google Play, 70% royalty rates. The pros are global reach, integrated Google ecosystem, and flexible pricing, which is nice. Cons are so complex pricing model and less market share compared to Amazon. I wonder I wonder what that is. Complex pricing model. So that must mean how you price your book. So I don't know. That might be, a slippery slope. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go after it, but just something to kind of do some extra research on if you're considering Google Play books. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, Chemo, you're right. These rates are pretty good compared to other side hustles for sure. Okay, so the final and the top six. So this is the top six. Is so smash words. I don't know if you guys have even heard. I've never heard of that either. Smash words. Never heard of it. Anybody out there heard of smash words? It doesn't even sound familiar. I don't even think I heard anything about it. Okay, so smash words. Actually, it says up to 80% of net sales, which might be one of the top here on this list here, depending on the distribution channel. So the pros are wide distribution network, which is always good, supports multiple formats, and no exclusivity required. That's good. So the cons are a smaller direct market share and more complex distribution and reporting. So there's really a lot of like, kind of pros and cons with each of these platforms if you're going to choose. So you really have to kind of go through and you have to decide. It doesn't mean that you can't do multiple ones, but you have to kind of decide, okay, where do you want to start? Do you have experience with any of them? If you don't, then maybe you just kind of, flip a coin and you just kind of maybe go with the most popular, which would probably be Amazon KDP, because it's free to publish. So that would probably be where I would start. So yeah, I don't see why you can't publish to all of them. The ones that do say that there's exclusivity required, meaning that you can only publish it to that particular one. You'd have to go in there and kind of tweak and make like basically a second version of your book, um, a separate copy, and kind of use that. But I don't see why you couldn't upload all of them. At least look into it. At least look into all these different options. So these are all, I think, great options in terms of diversifying the actual platform that you use and trying to get your book out there. I think so. I think a lot of people that start out Dragon Writer. So the question is, do people typically publish across multiple platforms for maximum exposure and royalties? I think so. I would say that at least in the United States, I think people would most likely, even above Google and Apple, I think they would probably go straight to Amazon, Amazon KDP, just because Amazon is like the juggernaut that it is. That's kind of how I would view that in terms of, I'm guessing that people would start there, but and I would probably start there myself. So yeah, I'm sure there's a learning curve, Kumo. So I wonder how much time it would take to upload to all the platforms altogether. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I can't imagine it's that hard to like actually upload the book itself. Like you just take your PDF or whatever your file format is and you upload it, I would imagine. But, you know, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if you kind of did some research and you carved out the time, okay, you're going to do like maybe set aside 2 hours to try to, you know, maybe upload to Amazon KDP. But the cool thing is, with all of these different platforms, I mean, you definitely can do research like text based, or it might be quicker just to go to YouTube and type in how do you upload a book to Amazon KDP, or uploading a book to Google Play or Smashwords or that kind of thing. So I think you really want to, if you want to cut out some of the learning curve, it always is easier if you're watching somebody do it, I think, and that may just make things a little bit easier. So. Hey Omar, thank you so much for stopping by. And thank you for taking time to comment. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we're so happy to have you here. Thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate it. So, just to give you some, because I know you might be new here, so we're in the middle, almost in the middle of a 30-day challenge, how to make money online. So today's day 9. We're talking about ebooks. We're being going live every single day. It's going to be for 30 days straight. So yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be a part of this challenge, we'd love to have you be a part of this community. And all you got to do is subscribe and then hit that notification bell, because we're going to be going live every single day. So, yeah, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here, we'd love to have you a part of this community. So, before I forget, I almost forgot. I want to mention this too, just for those who might help. We also do have like a free Facebook group. It's public, so it's really just so we can kind of talk to each other and not have to really talk through like comments on groups, that kind of thing. I mean, on videos, there's nothing wrong with that. I definitely highly encourage you guys to still leave comments and engage with the videos, but you're more than welcome to join this group. There's a couple of us in it. We're trying to build this community, so just more of like a one-on-one kind of more intimate help. So thank you again, Omar. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. So okay, so we're gonna kind of wrap up like this part here. So in conclusion, so the two most popular formats is going to be EPUB and Mobi, and that's really kind of due to like their widespread like compatibility and the support across like multiple platforms. So we're gonna break down, and so the two highest paying platforms, I mean, these are all like really close, but Amazon KDP and Apple Books definitely tend to offer like the most lucrative options for authors. So if you're serious about trying to publish a book, I would definitely consider Amazon first, probably Amazon KDP first, and then Apple Books if you have a Mac. So that's kind of the catch 22 with that. So yeah, so I was just gonna, we can just walk through that. So so surprisingly, you can actually, yeah. So BookieWiki, it says, how do you format for EPUB and Mobi? What program? So here's some kind of guides that you can use for software options. So yep. So I've seen PDF to EPUB converters. Actually, so Microsoft Word, if you're gonna write your book, you can write it in Word. Um, Calibre, that's one. Calibre, and that's for converting between formats. Um, so Scrivener is Scrivener. You know what? Let me copy and paste this, so you guys can kind of see this. So for the software options, let me paste this. Sorry, I know it's nearly impossible for you guys to, I can't post all this. Okay, actually, you know what? The chat won't let me post all this. Let me see if I can break this down. So there's 6 here. So let me see if I can just do this. I'll do it. You know what? I'll do it in 3. I might be able to do that. Break it apart in 3s. So that's 1, and then okay. Okay, so Omar asked, let's see. Sorry, let me go back to your chat, Omar. I got lost in this. So does the marketing part for it goes within Amazon, for example, or do we use different channels like Google and TikTok? Yeah, so if you do it through Amazon, Amazon is definitely going to market it for you. So, but that does, because being part of Amazon KDP, you do get some level of marketing through Amazon itself. So there's kind of like if you're gonna, publish something on, an Etsy type thing. So basically, there's a couple different ways that Amazon KDP actually advertises or markets. So there's a bunch of tools. So basically, the Amazon product page, um, yeah, so you could actually do ads. BookieWiki says, do you have to pay for ads or anything through Amazon? So you can pay for ads. So they do have Amazon advertising that you can create like pay-per-click ads, and that would appear like in the search results and on product pages. So you can do that if you'd like. That is one avenue that you can take. So Amazon, the product page itself, you can optimize your listing, basically your book, and so your book's product page is automatically listed on Amazon, and the page includes your book's description, your cover image, the reviews, and like the purchase options. So, and then of course, obviously SEO. So, Amazon's search algorithms can make your book appear in relevant search engines. So that's why it's important to, no matter what you're doing, you want to use effective keywords in the book title, the description, the subtitle, and the backend keywords to kind of bring it all together. Um, so, and then of course, another part of that tool is Amazon categories and rankings. So, the categories basically you're going to select the category that your book should be a part of. So, Amazon, the algorithm knows how to push it out. So, yeah, these are all these are included except for the fact, Amazon advertising. Obviously, if you choose to run ads through Amazon itself, then you are going to have to pay for that extra because that's on top of what Amazon does as like a baseline marketing. But there's definitely nothing that would stop anybody from doing your own, marketing like Omar suggested on, like TikTok, on any of the socials. Where it might be cool is like Pinterest because that's really heavily like graphic. So I think what you can do is you can use different keyword research tools in order to find what keywords to use. So, obviously something like a vidIQ, you can use that in terms of what keywords are searched. Yesterday we talked about Answer the Public. They have a bunch of keywords on there that you can use, that you could type in what your book is about roughly, and then kind of just line up some keywords. Um, yeah, I think I haven't actually done the, so Kumo asked, how expensive does the ad budget get? So I think it can get as expensive as you kind of, I guess, let it get. Um, yeah, so let me actually post. So I have, let me grab this here real quick. So I'll show you guys this for vidIQ. So you can use this for keyword research. So you can use that. There's a link that just directs back to me. I mean, it's a free account. You can download a free account, so that's no problem. So that is for keyword research. So you can use that if you'd like to use that. That's really great advice, Omar. Definitely. So the ad budget should start small and scale like as you're getting more sales. So if you profit $20 from a sale, you shouldn't pay more than 20 at first. I like that. And I think kind of complementary to that, you definitely shouldn't be spending more than you have to lose. Like, and I say lose just, as far as like, you don't want to just throw $500 for like an ad budget if you don't have that money to actually like actively spend on marketing. So, and marketing and advertising. So, I definitely would stay within your means of your budget at least at first. So, yeah, so actually it is primarily used for YouTube, but you can also use it for keywords as a whole. So, you can just type in any kind of keyword and it'll give you whatever the percentage as far as like people searching per month, but also like the competition score. So, hey, whoa, you're back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, so honestly, really, I mean, do you guys, anybody have any suggestions out there for Whoa? I'll let you guys kind of chime in and just see what you guys kind of think as far as, what some good options might be. Yeah, no, that's some great examples, Boogie Woogies. I was gonna say even kind of what we talked about before. So like maybe like cooking, cookbooks, that kind of thing, baking, that kind of thing. Or you can have either like children's books. You could do like if you wanted to have um, more of like less of like a novel type thing, but more of, some sort of like helping guide or like a layout guide to where you're actually helping somebody, maybe giving them tips and tricks or like shortcuts to do some sort of, I guess task, that kind of thing, to help kind of streamline process or like, for example, like how do you set up a YouTube channel and kind of break down like an outline. Yeah, no, Laura Sart, that's great. That's great advice too. Absolutely. And I think that kind of goes with the same territory as far as like, along with, kind of what you said with whatever expertise you have that you can share, I think would make the process a whole lot easier in terms of if you know what you're going to write about, if you're good at it and you have experience and it comes basically like second nature, then I think you can't lose with that. I mean, that's definitely going to be something that is going to make it a lot easier. Yeah, these are all great suggestions. You guys are doing a great job just providing, different suggestions for everybody. So Dragon Rider asked, what if you had an ebook and you wanted to sell on your own website? Would you use Shopify? Absolutely. I definitely think Shopify would be a great choice. In terms of like having your own book, if you didn't want to go through and kind of use one of the other platforms that we talked about today, specifically, Amazon KDP, um, Apple Books, Google Play Books, that kind of thing. Um, if you didn't want to use any of those, there's nothing wrong with using Shopify. So you got to kind of figure when you're doing that in the back of your mind, just remember that you're paying, excuse me, you're going to pay to have your Shopify store itself, like online, like every month. So you have to kind of work that, excuse me, where's that honey and lemon? You have to work that into your profit margin too. So let's just say, for example, just the bare minimum to have a Shopify store up and running without anything else is like 29, 30 bucks a month. So yeah, Shopify will take, let me see, I think it's like 2 or 3%, I want to say. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So here's what I got so far. So for basic Shopify, $39 a month is what it is. So dang. So the last time I used that, it was like 2016, 2017, it was only $29. Okay, so credit card rates would be 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. In-person credit card rate would be 2.7 plus 0 cents transactions. So that would be what they would take, basically their cut. Okay, and then it looks like if you use Shopify Payments, which is basically Shopify's integrated payment processor, you pay the credit card rates specified by your plan, which is what we just talked about. So if you use an external payment gateway like PayPal or Stripe, you pay the credit card rates of that service plus an additional fee for 2% for the basic, 1% for Shopify, and 0.5% for advanced. Okay, so there are fees. So it looks like it's about let's see. So 2.9% Shopify would take plus 30 cents per transaction. So, and that's just for a credit card. So, yeah, well, I definitely think it would be a great idea to have a voiceover. Definitely. I mean, and that's kind of more like an audiobook. Um, So I think you could absolutely use like an AI voiceover. Like 11 Labs is a great option, or you can use your own voice if you feel like that would be fitting to whatever the topic is. Yeah, you could do either one. So yep. So yeah, Chemo, you pay them monthly, and then they still take some of your sales profit for basically for credit card rates. Yeah, that's so. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it goes, right? So it doesn't really matter the platform. I mean, um, the only platform that I've seen so far that we talked about a couple days ago was that system.io, or let me see if I can pull up that link for that. So um, that one you don't but you don't have the traffic. So you're not going to have the traffic coming, but you would have the you can set up your own store. So that kind of thing. Um, so you can either do this. So this would be um, system.io as far as like, you know, what do you call it? Setup, like store setup kind of thing. You could use this, or what you can do is you can even do like if you guys are familiar with like Buy Me a Coffee, they have a you can sell digital products through Buy Me a Coffee. So let me see how much they charge. Let's see, because that might actually be easier. So okay. So it looks like Buy Me a Coffee charges 5% per transaction. And then, of course, if you're using PayPal or Stripe. So there's, for Buy Me a Coffee, um, there's no monthly fee. All you do is pay the 5%. So that's actually, in terms of, cutting down your cost for like monthly cost, that might actually be the best bang for the buck. Um, so I'll post this here if you guys want to take a look. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so Buy Me a Coffee, they only charge the 5%. So they charge 5% per transaction. Um, so let's kind of break this down. So if you sell a digital product, let's just say you sell a book for 10 bucks. So I know you guys can tell, right? It's all right. I promise I'm gonna do the honey and lemon tomorrow for sure after I get some rest tonight. So okay, so if you sell it, like for example, if you sell a digital product on Buy Me a Coffee, 5% fee. So 5% of 10 bucks is 50 cents. So the payment processing fee is going to be, let's see, 2.9% plus 30 cents. So whatever that is. And then the total fees for Buy Me a Coffee would be 50 cents plus 59 cents. Okay, so if you sold an ebook on Buy Me a Coffee for 10 bucks, your total profit would be $8.91. So that's not bad. I mean, that actually, I feel like that might be the best way so far is Buy Me a Coffee. You know what? I haven't looked at Kofi. Yeah, I haven't. Is that like a payment processor? Or is that like an online platform? I'm gonna actually look it up. Yeah, so sorry, Kofi. That's kind of like Buy Me a Coffee. Yep. Yeah. So let me paste this real quick, just so you guys can see. Um, so if you sell a digital product for 10 bucks, um, there we go. On that way, you don't even really need to. Yeah. Hey, whoa. So what? Excuse me. What platform are you talking about for the gold plan? Is that for Ko-Fi? 0 to 5% platform fees. Okay. So I think that's pretty comparable. Yeah, that's pretty comparable, I think. So Ko-Fi and Buy Me a Coffee, I think to be completely honest, that might be the two that I would probably choose first before like Shopify because it doesn't sound like there's really any, in terms of extra fees that you're paying. Yeah, I actually so I went through and I did the whole process of setting up buy me a coffee, like it was super simple. So I want to actually like I want to post this link for you guys just to see how you set it up. I mean, it's a super quick video. Okay, thanks, Will. Buy me a coffee setup. This is me going through the process, so if you guys want to check that out, that's something that you could do. I mean, it's definitely an alternative to like Shopify. um, so if you wanted to do that, then you could save a ton of money. You wouldn't have to pay any monthly. So yeah, I like both of those. So they're it really sounds like they're really the same, or they're really similar in terms of what they offer, the platforms and that kind of thing. So Lorsar asked, "Do you know if the other platforms carry a tax fee just like KDP?" You know what? I'm not sure. Let me actually find. Let me see if we can find out. So, okay, so it looks like okay, so it looks like Apple Books and Barnes and Noble do have specific fees and policies for taxes related to selling digital books on their platform. Apple Books platform fee, they take 30% commission on all book sales, and then they handle as a collection of tax, sales tax, or the VAT in many regions. So yeah, it looks like they do. Um, Loris, yep, they do. So it looks like other platforms definitely do taxes as well. I know, I know, Qmo. Seriously, right? I mean, there is so many fees out there. It just you really have to kind of, I think, do your research and kind of dig in and see what exactly is a best fit for you in terms of especially if you're just starting out. You want to make sure that yeah, I can't. I was looking for it, but I can't find it off the top of my head. Let's see. Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was trying to think. I was trying to find it real quick for you. Um, yeah, it's one of those things where I think you really kind of have to figure out when you're choosing a platform, you really have to kind of figure out what makes the most sense. How much money do you want to put towards, the monthly cost, the fees, the taxes, and all that stuff for a little more exposure in terms of, are you going to have the audience? Are you going to have like an Etsy type thing where they actually bring the traffic to you? Or are you okay with trying to market it yourself? Yeah. No, I totally agree. A book of wikis, definitely. I would just try everything and see what works. And the best thing you can do is, hey, Michael Sam, there he is. Hey, you caught us. And I'm so sorry. This is kind of towards the end of the live. Oh my goodness. No, I'm so happy to see you. Thank you so much for showing up. Yeah, it means a lot. Thank you. That's so cool that you popped in. Good to see you again. You know what? And like I always say, like just for you guys, for the guys that are new here, the people that are new, the lives will stay up. So the replays are going to stay online. So if you happen to miss any part of it, you can always watch the replay. So, hey, Decade Wave, welcome back. It's good to see you. I know you've joined a couple of these live streams too, right? That's awesome. Great to have you guys here. I know I'm like, oh man, it's like we're going towards kind of like the end of the live, but I mean, it would mean a lot if you guys, you know, if you wanted to kind of catch up and watch a replay, that would be awesome. My voice is starting to go out again. I already promised Sweetums that I would do the honey and the lemon. I haven't done that yet, and we're only on day 9, if you guys can believe that. So, is that crazy? So, I just want to give a huge shout out, huge shout out. Thank you guys so much for joining this live stream. We're in a 30-day challenge. So every day for 30 days, we're going to be talking about different business models on how to make money online. So there is a sneak peek. Tomorrow is day 10, if you can believe it. We are going to be talking about stock photography, which is so unique. I mean, just so that's such a cool thing. So I'm super looking forward to that. It's going to be a little bit earlier, I think, because I have some family commitments that I have to do at nighttime around this time. So it's going to be earlier, but we're still going to get it done. We're still going live. It's most likely going to be around maybe like 3:30 to 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and we're going to try to go as long as we can. So definitely keep your ears and your eyes out for that one. So if you guys are on and you're not subscribed and you'd like to be a part of this challenge with us, really appreciate it. If you want to hit that subscribe button, that would be awesome. And then just make sure to hit that bell so you can know when we go live, because we're going live. We got 22 more days of this. So we're going to be going live for the next 22 days straight. So we definitely love to have you guys come along on this journey with us. Um, so I just want to mention real quick one more thing. Oh, sorry, Sweetums. I was doing that little pitch for the thing. I didn't see it. Sorry. Let me see. Let me go back up. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. So I checked the Ko-fi Gold plan. If I'm reading the right, you pay $6 a month, and you have zero. Wow, zero platform fees. That's awesome. That's a really good deal. I mean, so, and $6 a month. I mean, you kind of just work it into your budget, right? Yeah, that is. That definitely is. So I would definitely look into that for you guys as far as like a platform goes. So definitely consider that as far as, maybe something that you might want to, capitalize on as far as using that as a platform. Um, Definitely. It doesn't hurt to look at everything out there and just kind of see what you kind of connect with the most. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. That definitely sounds like a good deal for sure. I love this. I love that every time you guys come on here, we interact, we learn something new, we help each other. It's just an awesome community that we're building, and I just appreciate everybody so much. Yeah, so the topic for tomorrow is stock photography. So day 10, if you can believe it, day 10 is tomorrow. Stock photography. So we're going to talk about selling photos online, the platforms you can get them on, how to maximize your earnings. So, oh, no worries, no problem at all. Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty excited about that one because that one's going to be interesting too. So, just want to mention real quick that we absolutely appreciate all of the support from everybody who's watching, whether it's live, whether it's through the replay. We appreciate all of you. Um, this channel is not yet monetized, so if you look at the very top, there's a pinned comment at the very top. So if you feel inclined to help with any kind of donation, we'd greatly appreciate it. We have Buy Me a Coffee, we have Cash App, PayPal's, Venmo, Zelle. So if you feel like giving and donate, we greatly appreciate it, but there's no obligation. So I just really appreciate you guys being here and participating and being a part of this live stream. So all right, guys, I think we are going to call it here. I definitely need to rest my voice because we got 22 more days of this. So I'm going to really have to take care of that honey and that lemon. So if you just joined, I apologize. We're getting ready to drop off, but feel free to watch the replay. The replay will be live. So not live, but the replay will be online. So definitely check that out if you're interested. So yeah, definitely. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Well, hopefully, I mean that's a goal to kind of push the channel in the right direction, and definitely super excited to keep reaching more people. I love seeing all of you guys that are repeat viewers. So it's so cool. So thank you again. I genuinely appreciate your support. It means a lot. So all right, everybody, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for all the info that everybody shared. And tomorrow, day 10, stock photography. Come on back and hang out. And I hope you guys have a great night and be safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow.